Craig Morgan here with PHNX Sports, and I'm here with Stephen White, the play-by-play man for the Australian Ice Hockey League. Stephen, first of all, thanks for joining for a couple months.
Thanks for making a 16-hour flight down here, guys.
Yeah, it was actually seamless, probably the best flight of our life. But I got to ask you, first off, what does this mean to folks like you who are around the sport here in Australia to have the NHL represented?
Without getting into too much hyperbole, the biggest thing that's ever happened. This has been about 10 years in the making. I remember the discussions earlier about 2014 when we were trying to get LA and I think at the time Vancouver to come down and play a game, but it's happening. We've got the Coyotes now, and mate, it's massive. Like I'm trying not to fanboy too much down there. I just feel bad that I confused your Patrick, your media manager, with Darcy Hordachuk, who came here 6 months ago. So I apologise to Horde. He's going to probably punch my head in the car park. Sorry, can I say that? But no, look, it's massive for the game. As someone who's been battling here for 13 years with the local league, just the boost that it's going to give us is huge. And just the stuff that the Coyotes are doing with the kids, man, the boomerangs, that's massive for the kids. That's the future of the league. I'm not going to try and as I said, fanboy too much, but huge. I personally was trying to get... The only disappointing thing was Josh Stone didn't make the trip. He's my favourite Coyotes prospect, but big fan of Boyd, Bukestad, all the rest, mate. So it's massive.
Just curious what you're seeing around the city in terms of buzz, signage, all those sorts of things. We've obviously been to a couple events already, but how is Melbourne receiving this so far?
It's sold out. I remember when it was announced back in April, we were sort of caught a bit off guard. I knew it was sort of coming, but it's huge now. Like I've been asked, I'm not wearing my gear, but I go around, people know that I'm in the hockey world. They keep asking me about, how do I get tickets? Who's coming and all the rest of it. So it's big. I mean, Melbourne is renowned for sports. They like to say they're the sporting capital. I know there's other cities out there that will like to contest that. That's fine. But for it to happen here, the buzz is massive. And to happen on AFL preliminary final weekend is double massive too. So the city's just going to be buzzing.
How did you get involved with the sport? What's your history?
Mighty Ducks. So, to sum it
You're not the first person that's told me that, by the way. That's interesting. Nathan Walker told me the same thing.
Yeah, so there's literally a generation of Australian players that got into the sport because of the Mighty Ducks. You know, we saw the movie Charlie Conway and Emilio Estevez, the coaching, and we were like, what is this sport? And then just dug later into it. I started playing inline, not very well, but then my hometown of Perth only had one ice rink at the time in the 90s, and then finally bugged my parents to go and play. And then I just, I was always a better talker than I was a player, but I've been playing for 20 years. Some of these other kids that you see around, Nathan and all the rest that are on a national team, they all, essentially this generation is all a product of the Mighty Ducks. And then from that just grew, and they didn't start televising it on Australian cable TV until the late 90s. We had the IHL, Chicago Wolves and Grand Rapids Griffins and all that, and then they started showing the show. They did show highlights, so you just have to dig. But yeah, I just fell in love with it after that, and it's the best sport in the world. So,
how would you capture the state of the Australian Ice Hockey League, the pro or semi-pro, however you want to characterize it? What would you use to describe it? How would you say the level is and the interest, etc.?
So to give it an American context, it probably sits between the Coast and the SPHL in terms of standard. It's just we're a tier 2, tier 3 sport here, so we just have to be realistic about our expectations. So when we have 6,500 registered players across the country, I mean, the long-term goal is to get that to 10,000. But in terms of the standard, that was where I'd probably peg it. We've had, our famous alumni would be Rob Zaminer, who played 2005 for Brisbane 5 games, and Steve McKenna, who used to play for the Kings. And, Hordachuk was just telling me he fought him. I'm trying to go dig the footage up now. He actually coached our national team in 2008 to a gold medal. So we sit in Division 2A, which is 3 down from the main division. The World Champs. I also do the National Men's League team. I'm hopefully going to Serbia next year for the World Champs. We play New Zealand every November and March in a 3-game series, so New Zealand will come and play us. But in terms of that, we're also in a sports-heavy market for such a small population. So 25 million people, we're competing with the AFL, the NRL, surfing, tennis, you name it. I think we do very well per capita for what we do with our resources. So I'd say that's where I'd put the league. In terms of the semi-pro status, the players here, the imports, each team is allowed 5 imports. So outside you had Scott Timmins and Ty Wishart. They're probably our 2 top imports this year. And we had Austin Albrecht, who played in the Coast as well for CBR Brave. And we've had other players come here and decide to stay. Ty played for the Islanders. Timmins play for the Panthers. They both played in the A. So they've been great ambassadors the last 2 years they've been here, and they've decided to throw down roots. But that's where I'd peg the league right now.
Okay, last question for you. Just curious what you're expecting from that. We haven't even seen inside Rod Laver yet. I've seen it obviously for tennis tournaments. Just curious what you think the atmosphere will look like. Will there be people from the Pro League there to watch? And I'm assuming you're going as well.
Oh, yeah. I can't not go. No, that's right. Yes, so there'll be... Rod Laver is interesting because we ran from 2013 to 2017. There was a USA-Canada exhibition series, and they played there. The atmosphere was really good. There's also the Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney, which is 20,000. We thought it was going to be there, but you're going to have a little more intimate setting at Rod Laver. I think it's just going to be noisy as all hell, and I'm really looking forward. You're going to have a cross-section of hockey fans. There are people coming from all over Australia and New Zealand to come and see it. You'll have a lot of the AIHL alumni from the other teams will be there. A couple of the other team governors and stuff will be there too. I'm sure you'll be able to hunt them down. I can help you hunt them down if you want, but they're all coming. It's going to be really great. It's going to be a cross-section of the Australian sports community. We're going to have a whole bunch of people there. So I can't wait. I know it's going to happen and then it's going to be over. But I'm just glad it's here. As I said, I'm going to stop with a hyperbole because I've been waiting for this for so long. So we just really appreciate you guys coming 15 hours and out of your way and dealing with the jet lag. But you get the coffee at the end, so that's the cherry on top.
Yeah, we've been sampling that already. Stephen, thanks so much for taking some time. Really appreciate it.